what it is. How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to do a quick First Ones to Die talk about episode about San Diego Comic-Con, all the news, stuff that came out, stuff that didn't come out. Well, we might not talk about that, but we'll talk about all the stuff. And the only way for you to find out what stuff we're going to be talking about is to sit back, relax, grab a snack, grab a beverage, and listen on in to the Swabbly Fan and the First Ones to Die. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another segment of the First Ones that I talk about. This time a little more positive. Last time we did this was about the Oscar slap between Will Smith and Chris Rock, which update, I think, Jonathan, is what you're going to say. Will Smith is
that's right. That's
his official. I mean, he already apologized, but this is like his, I guess, apology to the fans now.
Sorry, I had forgotten what I was. Yeah, I had forgotten what I was going to say because we had a mic eating incident before we recorded. So it's no.
I know who I am, and I'm not ashamed of it. So he publicly, there's got hair.
Yeah, he posted an apology video. He posted an apology video, like a 5-minute apology video to Chris Rock. I texted my coworkers about this because we always text each other like pop culture stuff, and they were like, "Are people are still like this is still a topic of conversation?" I told one of my coworkers, and she was like, "I said, did you hear that Will Smith apologized, put up an apology video?" And she's like, "For what?" She had forgotten about the incident in question.
Yeah, because it wasn't
even. We moved on.
It wasn't even that hard of a slap. Like Chris Rock was like, "Oh yeah, I got this." Like, dude, I've taken more hits to the head. All right, like relax.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about the Oscar slap again.
We're talking about San Diego Comic-Con. For those who don't know, first of all, you're probably living under a rock. But if you don't know, Comic-Con just happened a few weeks back by the time this comes out. And it was exciting. We got to see a lot of announcements. I'm sure a lot of comic book stuff happened too that, like anybody who was there knows about, but the general public probably wasn't talking about because, Comic-Con hasn't been about comics in a long time now to the general public. It's all about the movies, TV shows, and everything else. So today we're going to talk about a few of the announcements and things that came out of Comic-Con, just due to the nature of what Comic-Con is and, who had panels. It'll probably be a majority of a Marvel talk for a little bit, but that'll be kind of near the end. For now, we'll talk about some of the other stuff that came out of Comic-Con and just give our thoughts on it. Starting with the first thing to get the head start on everything, Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. This is a movie that has been a long time coming. I've heard about it so many times. I wasn't sure if they were still working on it. And then out of nowhere, they're like, "Hey, here's a trailer. Here, the whole teaser trailer. Go." And it looks good. I am excited. Excited for the cast. I like Chris Pine. I like Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, Ray J. Jean, girl from It, whose name I don't know.
Oh, the redhead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's helpful. The redhead.
It is. She's the only one.
I don't know her name either.
Isn't it? It's Sophie something, right?
Yeah, Sophie.
Sophia.
With an L.
I honestly thought
I got the poster here. Hold on, Sophia Lillis. There we go.
I thought it was the same woman from Jurassic World.
Oh, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
No, Jessica Chastain.
No, Justice Smith is in it, but
Jessica Chastain is the adult redhead in It, Chapter 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you talking
about Chapter 2? Everyone knows when you talk about the girl with the red hair from It, they're talking about the child. You know what? Think about Jessica Chastain. Despite how good she is.
I wasn't thinking. I think they all kind of look alike to me.
Already.
They're pale. They got red hair. Like, yeah. I'm excited for this movie. I don't know what else to say about that.
Same. I haven't seen a second of the trailer. but I'll take your guys' word for it. I'm excited for it too, especially now that I have experience with Dungeons and Dragons and hearing the cast too. I mean, it sounds promising.
Yeah, Hugh Grant's playing the villain, so it's solid cast.
That's
It
weird.
looks
That feels
yeah,
weird.
I feel like he usually plays nice people.
Yeah, that feels weird to have Hugh Grant.
I
in,
feel
like
like
this
his
fantasy
villain.
film.
I mean, you don't get to see much of him in the trailer, so we don't know what he's gonna be like. But I imagine he'll probably be like Jeff Goldblum in Thor Ragnarok, like how Jeff Goldblum was the villain in that movie, technically, but you still like love him. I feel like Hugh Grant could play like that type of villain, like the lovable villain, maniac villain.
I guess so. I don't know.
The only thing that struck me crazy about this trailer is the fact that they released it at all, because this movie doesn't come out till like 2023.
Well,
So it's like
that's about a half a year away.
I know, but I would have
Come on.
thought it would have been later. Like you would have waited until like December so you can build up the buzz closer to the date as opposed to like so early.
look, if Christopher Nolan can fake us out and think we're in the wrong movie, and that movie don't come out till almost exactly a year from now, then they can release this Dungeons.
That's fair. And then also, like, I feel like movie trailers get released like within the year time framing now because they want to build up all that hype and stuff. They're like, hey, look at what we're showing you. Hey, this is what's going to be in there. Because they always release like what, 5 different trailers for the movie?
Yeah,
Depends
I
on
feel
the
like they're
company.
releasing them earlier
Like,
and
if
earlier
it's
nowadays.
got a high budget, it'll release like a lot of trailers. If it doesn't, then high marketing budget. Sorry, if it has a high marketing budget, they'll release a bunch of trailers. If not, they'll just be like, yeah, screw it. You only need one trailer. Like we'll put it out closer to the movie.
I've never seen a thing with one trailer. Anyway, still excited for this film. I love Chris Pine. I was saying before, I'm on a weird Star Trek kick again, which I have just that's like my comfort show right now. That's what I've been watching over and over. I forgot. I knew how sassy the original cast was, but I've forgotten how sassy they were. Just love it. They're just a sassy bunch of people in space. And Chris Pine wasn't, and he's rumored. I don't know if he's signed. He's going to be in Star Trek 4. So to have Chris Pine in Star Trek 4, going off in space, and then going now D&D style, that's like a nerd's great dream. It's like a nerd's girl dream. It's not English. The words are in there. Put the sentence together yourselves.
We got you.
Thank you.
Listen, all I know is it's a good time to be a Dungeons and Dragons fan. You got Critical Role TV show on Amazon Prime. This new movie coming out. Stranger Things still keeping the Dungeons Dragons lore strong. Like it's a good time.
A new virus to make sure you stay inside.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the next trailer that got released, or what's the next thing?
Next one is it's a minor one, and I wanted to talk about it because I'm like, why? I did not watch this trailer, but this is on the IGN.
That's okay. I didn't watch
like,
any of these trailers.
This is the IGN telling IGN website telling about all the releases. Apparently, National Treasure is getting a TV show, folks. That's right. The Nicolas Cage led National Treasure. But it's not starring him. It's just it's starring this other girl, Lisette Alexis, as Jess Morales, is the main character.
In any of the movies at all?
I don't believe so. No, I think
Okay.
I think it's just.
So she's
it
just
says
on
it's
the
supposed to
same
be a
mission.
reboot. It's supposed to be a reboot, but okay. TV shows.
Here's what I think their thought process was. Here, let me explain. People
like how you looked into the camera for that. You're like, I need to talk to the audience.
Yeah, because it's all your guys' fault, really. Nobody was asking for this. Nobody wanted this. Wait. However, people make jokes about National Treasure 2 or 3 being like Nicolas Cage's best role. And they make lots of jokes.
Who made that joke? That's a lie.
Trust me, it's out there. It's out there. And then they make jokes about National Treasure, there's like a TikTok videos I've seen about the way he stares at his like romantic interest, Jessica Alba. No,
she's some blonde woman whose name I don't remember right now.
And so like the way he stares at her is like this really creepy, like, oh, he looks like he's in love with you. And he's just like that's his look. So like I blame the people who were using this movie as making jokes, making TikToks of those songs, being like, oh look, we're gonna go steal the national declaration and do that. It's your fault. Nobody was asking for this. You made one too many jokes, made one too many social media posts. People thought this was what the people wanted, and now we're stuck with this. Now
Yeah,
this is
because
what we have.
even if you got to be careful with what you make jokes about and like spread on the internet as to make fun of or whatever, because companies see that as profitable, and anything that's popular is profitable. So you if you jump in on those trends and making fun of things, all the companies are going to do, or studios, whatnot, they're going to see that that's profitable and make more content of it.
They did that with Morbius. Morbius tanked. Then people made a meme or something happened where they were making all these
it's
jokes.
Morbin time.
Yeah, Morbin time. And they're like, hey, let's bring it back. So they brought it back for like another week in theaters after it had been out of theaters, I think like a month or so. And it bombed again so badly that it was straight up embarrassing that they even attempted that. So I blame all the people who like showed us those videos on TikTok, who made those jokes, who all were talked about National Treasure on Twitter or TikTok. I blame you. You are the reason we have this film. I don't care if you were just making jokes. This is on you guys. Solely on you.
What network is it going to be? Because that might make a difference too.
Well, it's Disney Plus, so
that's going to be cheesy as fuck.
I mean, it's gonna be this dude who played Riley is coming back, Justin Bartha. So
I've never seen any of the National Treasure movies.
He was like the like quirky sidekick character who's like bumbling because he doesn't quite know all the stuff, but he's like, still useful, that sort of thing.
I saw the first National Treasure, and then the second one I watched. Sometimes the dentist, they'll give you like, you can watch a movie or something while you're getting like, I was getting a filling, or I was getting multiple fillings, I think, filled in like when I was in high school, and they gave me that movie to watch, or I chose that movie to watch. So I don't have the best association with it. It's not as bad as my association with Doctor Strange.
You have to stop watching any movies when something bad is happening. But then again, this is still National Treasure, so it's not like I feel like you're gonna have developed this kinship with it. So you're
right,
that one.
Right. I don't feel like
it's all a blur to me, to be honest. All the National Treasure movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to watch it. Like I kind of want to watch it because I want to understand these jokes, but I don't want to watch it because it looks so fucking stupid. And now I'm upset by the people who made the jokes. Oh, your guys' fault.
Moving on.
All right, next one.
Lord of the Rings of Power trailer came out. Well, the official one, but before we had a teaser. This is now like the actual trailer. And I will say, I do agree with one person who had a legit criticism of it, because there's a lot of people who have had issues with the Lord of the Rings trailers, but a lot of it's been like just nerds being nerds of just like, it's not right, and Galadriel's got a sword, just need that, and all this other nerd crap. But the one legitimate criticism I did hear that after getting this trailer was I was like, we still do not, this show's supposed to come out in September, we still have no clue what the hell this show's about. And it's making it hard. I think if we could have at least some semblance of what the story is, it would maybe undercut a lot of that issue, a lot of those problems with people complaining, because they're like, they'll at least know what's happening. As it stands right now, all we've gotten is just a lot of like Lord of the Rings stuff in a trailer. Like, hey, you like dwarves? Here's some hobbits. Here's some elves. Here's some really cool looking stuff. Here's orcs. Swords, the Balrog, Lord of the Rings, come see it September. And I'm like, okay, how does any of that tie together though? I don't understand what I'm looking at.
Did the hobbits stay out of like the war that occurred?
That's one of the things a lot of people have issues with, is that their hobbits are in this story, and it's like, hobbits haven't traveled yet. At least depending on the timeline you're in.
Hobbits
they haven't gone to the worlds. But again, nerd stuff. I don't care. Like, as long as it's a good story, I'm down with that.
I get what they're saying, because I'm like that about certain stuff, but at the same time, I had said previously how again, once again, I'm going through going through all my Star Trek movies and shows, and people like get on my nerves because I'll talk about one of the series or be like, yeah, I'm rewatching this movie, and they're like, oh, they didn't do it properly, they completely forgot this. I'm like, dude, I'm just enjoying my film. And they'll be like, oh, you're not a real fan. I'm like, I genuinely don't care what you have to say. I'm just trying to have fun and disassociate into my films. Because I'll get a lot of frack sometimes about the Chris Pine Star Treks. And they're like, oh, it doesn't. I'm like, but they changed it so it fits the narrative that they wanted to create. And the thing is with these shows and everything like that, things fit the narrative to the show because they can't do this the way you do in film because you have certain abilities to do a certain type of storytelling when it comes to film, and you have a certain type of storytelling ability when it comes to TV. And I think people forget that, and then when the lore is split like that, when these old stories are like, oh, they didn't, well, they can't do that on the TV show, it's not allowed. They may have maybe the budget, but like the network won't allow it or this won't allow it. So there's so many restrictions that come into play. And I think people forget that. They think it's just people changing things because they didn't like this or didn't like that. And it might be, some of it might be, but it's also the way it's being presented to us is definitely different than the way we are used to. And that's a big chunk of it. Because I think they even do that with like comic books, because some comic books are, the bigger ones, and then some are the just normal comic books. And when you have a shorter story, you have to get through the story quicker, and you don't talk about the history of it. And then you get the big ones and you get it all drawn out. They're like, well, this wasn't in this one. Well, no, because the pages, it was 5 pages. Where are they going to fit that story in there? And technically they're creating something more outside the lore too, because Tolkien didn't write this shit. He wrote some of it, but he didn't write all of it.
And most expensive, I was going to say movie, but TV show ever made, I heard reports of at $1 billion, which is
it better have some good visuals.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's ridiculous.
I wonder where they're filming, because they filmed other stuff in New Zealand. Do you guys know do you know where they're filming?
No, probably New Zealand, I would imagine.
Maybe. Probably New Zealand, but for all we know, it could just be that they filmed a lot of it on like that infinity stage or whatever they have now, where it's like the big dome projected stage. I don't know, because I don't know how much of this was filmed during COVID. So
that's a good point too. They might have had to change the story because of COVID.
So we'll see. I mean, I think it looks good. I just wish I knew more about it with the show so close to coming out. But that's just me personally. I don't think it looks awful. Know,
because then we complain about knowing too much. The trailer shows.
Well, there's a way to do it. There's knowing too much, and then there's just knowing what is your show about. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Even if saying, well, it's about Lord of the Rings doesn't clarify, because Lord of the Rings is huge. There's a huge world of characters.
But that does not narrow Lord of the Rings. That's all people need to know.
I think they're trying to do it like Star Wars, where I remember when the prequels for Star Wars came out, and for the longest time, there was no trailer with any story. It was just Millennium Falcon, TIE fighters, desert planet, Star Destroyers, Stormtroopers. Come see the movie. I'm like, what is the story about though? What is this movie?
But it worked. Do you not remember working those shifts? It worked.
I mean, it made billions of dollars, so I guess I don't know what I'm talking about.
I didn't know. I barely knew what Nope was about.
Okay, but that's different. We expected to not know anything about what Nope was going to be about,
right? But before we watched the movie. even if I hadn't expected to not know what Nope was about, Jordan Peele and Keke Palmer would have sold me alone, and Daniel Kaluuya.
I mean, I went to see because of Jordan Peele.
Yeah, and this is where the part of the show where Jonathan will pitch Keke Palmer's newest project. Go ahead, Jonathan. We will give you some time for you to tell everybody about Keke Palmer. Go ahead.
Does she have a new project out? Because I'd love to see it.
Jonathan would know. He's her biggest fan. Go ahead.
She's hosting Password with Jimmy Fallon.
See?
On NBC.
That sounds like such a stupid show, and she's better than that.
All right, moving on. Hitting up DC over at the Warner Brothers lot. Warner Brothers was very minimal this year. as far as their announcements for stuff, mainly because the stuff they could show probably is too controversial right now. Because the Flash is shot, like it's finished,
Yeah.
but they can't show any of it because of the drama. Same thing with Aquaman 2. I think Aquaman 2, I think is wrapped filming, if not close to wrapping. So they have footage. It's just they can't show it because of all the Amber Heard stuff. So so the only things they came with were the characters they didn't have any issues with, which was Shazam and Black Adam. So so they showed
Well,
the trailers.
also, first of all, I'm excited. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that they showed the trailers for Shazam: Fury of the Gods, which is the Shazam sequel with Zachary Levi. You know, all the cast is back, but this time including Helen Mirren. She's gonna play the villain. And Black Adam, which The Rock has been pushing for like damn near a decade, if not a little over a decade. So I'm sure for him, he's excited that he finally gets to do this project and make it happen. So
Aha, I got a comic of him too.
Hey, I am very excited for Shazam. I loved the first one. I think me and you, Jerome, saw it.
We saw it together, yeah.
When we worked at IMAX. And I can't wait for the second one. I hope the
suit looks better this year for real. This time around, it looks more normal. It doesn't look like he's just wearing a muscle suit with like his little, because Zachary Levi he's like a muscular guy, but he's not very big. He's very
well, I think he got in shape for that role.
I mean, he did, but he's still a lean guy. He didn't get like Henry Cavill big, where he's just wide and big. Right. He just got like, you know, as much muscle as he could put on. This suit, even though it still looks like it's got a little bit of padding, it looks more contoured to his body than the first one did.
Well, if anybody hasn't seen the first Shazam, spoiler alert, just skip this like 30 seconds to a minute. So at the end of Shazam 1, you know, you see the adult versions of all the superheroes. Are all of them gonna be in this next movie?
Yeah. It looks like this is gonna be very,
because I like the cast that they cast for the adults.
Family. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna really focus on the Shazam family aspect, which is cool because that's, of course, that's what you do. It's like the first movie, Shazam; second movie, Shazam family. So that is cool with me. I like.
Following the It trajectory. First movie, the kids; second movie, the adults. But what I was also gonna say, sorry, Alex.
No, go ahead. I'm good.
What I was also gonna say is that I saw today that this might have not been a Comic-Con announcement, but Jason Momoa shared on his Instagram that Ben Affleck is coming back, and
yeah, that's a recent announcement. It wasn't at Comic-Con, but I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and he also shared a video of the Warner Brothers studio tour, and one of the tour guides who I know, and I'm in the group chat still. They haven't kicked me out. And they were all sharing the video and like, look. So that was pretty cool.
I don't care about Shazam. I didn't watch the first one. I was started just thinking about Henry Cavill.
I'm sorry.
That's where I went.
Did I spoil the movie for you? I'm sorry.
No, I was just up there with Henry Cavill at the moment. So that's on my 2 cents. What's the next one?
Next on the list is back to Fantasyland for a little bit. House of Dragons trailer finally came out. This is the prequel to Game of Thrones that's mostly focused around the Targaryens, their rise to the Iron Throne, and you know, their lore and history with the dragons, that sort of stuff. Starring Matt Smith. It comes out soon. I don't remember the date right now, but it looks good. I don't have any like strong feelings about it based off the trailer, but at the same time, it looks exciting. It looks interesting. Looks like they're gonna do something really fun with the lore, and Matt Smith looks weird with white hair.
Yeah, I kept thinking that the entire time. I'm like, I'm excited to see Matt Smith. I really like him. He's really cool. And then I see him and I'm like, he creeps me out so much in this film. And I understand that's supposed to be part of that Targaryen feeling too, because they're kind of a creepy bunch. Because incest makes you creepy, people. Just saying that out there, putting that out there. And it just creeps me out so much. I'm like, I kind of don't know if I want to watch it. I might watch like the first or two episode, and if it doesn't like hit with me, I'm probably gonna leave it because they screwed up Games of Thrones at the end. So they lost a lot
Yeah.
of people's trust when they're like, we're bringing something back.
Now, granted, I don't know if Benioff and Weiss are doing this show. I think it might be somebody else doing the actual show running this time around.
That might be better. I understand they like rushed it because they had to finish it and they had to end it, but there was like so many plot holes. The way they just ended things was just like they threw everything in a hamper and they're like, all right, we'll sort it out later. Just send it out. Go. I was like, yeah. And now with this, and also I get the Targaryen like family line was more interesting, but was it only interesting because it had dragons in it?
I mean, that was the part of it, like that, and then also like the incestuous part of it. Then there's also the fact that they're like, they say when a Targaryen's born, they like the gods flip a coin as to whether or not they'll be mad or normal. So
That's
it's
another thing that like makes me cautious about the show. Is this show going to be surrounded on the incestuous thing? Because if it is, then I'm definitely not going to be able to watch
I
it.
doubt that. I don't think that HBO would let that happen.
I feel like some
because they have a brand
of these
upkeep,
shows
you know what I mean?
nowadays, HBO be going there sometimes though. But I feel
Not
like
that far. I mean, heck, just doing it in the
Look.
original Game of Thrones proper was already edgy enough, and that was only one couple. Yeah,
Look,
like
even
technically two near the end, but
even Netflix has been going there recently. I'm looking at you, Umbrella Academy.
no,
Season
Umbrella
1 and
Academy, the most recent season, they've squashed that. Then now they're just like, no more.
Yeah, but it's still some of it happened. Still,
it did.
It
There
did.
was-
I mean,
it
it
did.
did.
It got weird.
I get what you mean. I'm just
There's
saying.
so many other plot lines to be had. You all could have gone with Sodi. Like, no, I don't ever think it's a good plot line. It's not necessary. It grosses me out. And that's another thing that puts me on the fence about the show. If it insists upon itself to include this in a major way or heavy on this theme, I'm definitely going to be like, nope, I'm out. Because like this makes me the thought of it makes me so uncomfortable. And like trying to sit through an episode of that where it's like, this whole episode's just going to be about like, we're talking about who's marrying which cousin, this and that. It's like, no, thank you. I'm going to go watch something else. I don't know what's going on with HBO Max. I don't know. I'll watch anything else. I don't know what you're doing, but like,
no, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel any ways about it. Like, I feel like Game of Thrones is kind of over, but they want to do more. Sure, I'll watch it. Give it a chance. I mean, it looks pretty decent. So, moving on. The next thing, what was on here? Because getting into Marvel news, but intercut with that. I want to save the Marvel stuff for a little bit later. Sandman. New Sandman trailer came out. Finally got to see a lot more of the show. It looks awesome. I can't wait to see it. Looks really good. I'm excited for what's her name? Dang it. Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer. It looks like a fun show. Morpheus looks great. Death looks great. I'm excited to see the show. I can't wait. I'm hoping it will tie into the DC universe proper. I know that technically Sandman doesn't really. I mean, Batman shows up, I think, like in one issue. So it's not like it's like majorly tied into the DC universe, but it would be interesting to see for sure. Or at the very least, if John Constantine shows up, I would be satisfied.
I don't think I would want a crossover at all. Like,
no, I want a crossover. I want their own version of it in the show, like their own thing.
Oh, you mean like a little hello to the audience type of deal?
Yeah, no, I don't want them to like go get like Constantine from like the Constantine show and put him in this, or like get like a Batman from like movies past. Like, I want them to make their own thing and have it like have their own stuff in like make this feel like its own universe, I guess, in a way, like its own version of the DC universe.
So really quick, if you don't know what we're talking about, or because you just said Sandman, you really gave no other information.
True, yeah, I didn't explain. It's Neil Gaiman's Sandman.
It's a story about once upon escaping after decades of imprisonment by a mortal wizard, Dream, the personification of Dream, sets about to reclaim his lost equipment. And you get pretty much these characters that are physical forms of like death and Lucifer and nightmares and desire and despair. And like it's really cool because I've gotten to read the comics and it's so interesting the way to have these emotions and concepts into a physical form and speaking to each other too. And that's where it gets it gets really interesting, the concept that desire and despair are like talking to each other just over a cup of coffee, being like, hey, what's up? Just wandering about. Cool. And then dream, of course, because everybody dreams, everybody, hopefully everybody dreams. I don't know, there might be some people that don't dream. I don't know about that. And it's just an interesting concept. And from what I've seen, it looks, Netflix seems to be doing a very good job visually. And they have allowed Neil Gaiman to have so much input, which is nice because with Good Omen on Amazon Prime, love that show. Neil Gaiman got to have so much creative input, and that show ended up so beautiful and so well close to his work. And I believe there was an interview I saw with Neil Gaiman. He was talking about Terry Pratchett. Is it Pritchett or Pratchett? His last name.
It's Carrie, or Terry, whatever.
Anyway, he said a lot of the times when they wanted to change something creatively, he would creatively, thank you. He would remember hearing his friend's voice and being like, "Are you really gonna let them do that to our work?" He's like, You're right. He's like, "No, we're not changing it." So I feel like he almost went with that same little voice in his head, being like, "You're really gonna let them change what we created just to fit them?" And he like, because it just looks surprisingly similar to the comic books, and it's just, I'm excited to see it. I think it's going to be really well done.
I think so too. I'm excited for it. It looks good. Way better than it has any right to be, and I'm just gonna accept it because that story is really loaded. It's because it's just there's so many issues. So as in like literal issues, of the book. So I don't expect them to get to everything. I don't expect them to do everything. I'm just gonna take it as it is at face value and just read it that way. I'm not going to be expecting it to be the book verbatim. And because I'm worried some people might expect that. And I don't think that's fair. I think there's just some things that the show just won't be able to do because it has to be a TV show. And also, this is being made for, the nerds who love Neil Gaiman's Sandman, but it's also being made for the general audience too. So it needs to have like more mass appeal. And that may mean that some things might get cut out. So we'll see how it goes.
People really need to let go of that narrative of like, oh, it's better than the book, or the book's better than this. And comparing it to the book, yeah, that's fine because it's the original source material. But you also have to just take the movie or the show as what it is, because this is almost like a new piece of work. It's more inspired by than, actually like. And there are some scenes that are done really well. There are some scenes I agree they can't cut out because it's like super important to the story. This is how, like, what they did with the Last Airbender, the movie.
Oh yeah.
They just like trashed everything. It should have been an inspired by at most. So I think people need to work on holding on to that narrative, like, oh, it's not like this in the book. Well, yeah, because it's not the book. This isn't the book. This is a completely different source material being worked on by completely different people. You may have
different medium too.
Different styles and actors of what you perceived in your head is completely different to what's actually going on. So
all right, Marvel.
Well, before we get to Marvel, last thing to do before Marvel, speaking of books, we got a new trailer for Anne Rice's Interview with a Vampire. This is going to be on Netflix. It's going to be a series, or sorry, it's not going to be on Netflix. It's going to be AMC. I thought it was going to be on Netflix, but it's going to be a series based off the book of the same name. Those who know that name probably know it more familiar with the Brad Pitt / Tom Cruise movie based off the same book, Interview with a Vampire. This time it stars the dude who played Grey Worm, Raleigh Ritchie. In Game of Thrones, he plays the main character this time around. I don't know who plays Lestat, but it looks all right. It looks interesting. I don't know how well this book will translate into a series over a movie.
Why do they gotta keep making things into series?
I think it's because they figure they'll have more time. And to be fair, the vampire like saga, Anne Rice's vampire saga, it's like very extending. It's very extenuous as far as like how many books are in that. So there's a lot of lore to pull from for sure.
I think
To
this
like
would have
do a series.
better
but-
idea a couple years ago. No, like
It does feel random. That's what I was gonna say. It just feels random though that they're doing it now.
because who's talking about Anne Rice's interview with a vampire? Who? It's the same way with National Treasure. Who the fuck is like going up and being like, "This is what we need. I need to create this project right now."
But damn it, Anne Rice is about to get her due today.
But then we don't get an Atlantis live action film or series. The stuff that people are really petitioning about, they don't get.
Listen, Jonathan, I am right there with you. I think Atlantis should get a live action show. I think Treasure Planet should get a live action
Treasure Planet. That's the one. I keep
never saw-
confusing those two.
Never saw Treasure Planet.
But I'm gonna tell you now, they will never do it because they don't want to spend that type of money to make those two
They
happen.
could spend $1 billion on Lord of the Rings.
Thank you.
But they can't spend it on something.
That's a different studio. We're talking about Disney here, all right? They only bank on things that are a surefire hit, and nobody watched Atlantis or Treasure Planet when they came out as cartoons.
All of the millennials have been begging for years for them to make live action Treasure Planet.
I've seen Atlantis. I have not seen Treasure Planet. Is that the one where they're animals too?
No, Treasure Planet is where it's Treasure Island, but in space with the spaceships that
are they
fly
human though?
in space. Some of them, yeah. There's also like a Catwoman and Rockman.
That's what okay. So I'm aware of it.
Fire ant dude with the claws, the clamps.
That is a reference for you and whoever understands it.
Futurama. You ever see Futurama?
No, I have. I've heard like a lot of people ask for that. That would have been smarter to bank on that than whatever.
The National Treasure for damn sure. I know that much.
Fuck.
Yeah, because I bet if you scroll through, and I don't mean no shade Disney Plus because you offered some. Okay, yeah, shade. But if you scroll through the Disney Plus catalog right now, you'll be like, okay, who asked for this? Who asked for this? Who asked for this?
It's true.
I bet you could do that with
Disney Plus has so many shows. I'm like, who the hell is watching any of this crap? Like I know families ain't like it feels like I don't hear kids be talking about this show on the TikToks.
They're like, all I hear is about the older cartoons and being like, oh yeah, I love this cartoon. I love this cartoon. I'm like, I've never really seen them, but like the amount of people that I see just wanting them, it's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. You would want a live action. And a lot of these people have already picked out the actors that are like, oh, this is perfect for them. Oh, this is perfect for them. Like you already have a casting list that so many people would be excited to see. And then you all go for National Treasure.
I already know who can play the main character in Treasure Planet.
Tom Holland.
Well, Tom Holland's
that's been the fan casting for years.
I picked Timothy Chalamet.
I don't like his face. I'd rather have Tom Holland.
Oh, so you got another new person, huh? Whose face you don't like?
Tom Cruise, I don't like his. I don't understand Timothy Chalamet's appeal. I don't get it. I don't get what's there. I don't understand.
He's got the chiseled jaw. The girls like the chiseled jaw. Okay,
is that it? That's all he's got.
It's a good thing he's not any of these shows or movies that Comic-Con announced.
He's gonna be in Dune 2, but I expected a Dune 2 trailer for Comic-Con.
I heard they just started filming.
Did they? I thought they had already started.
I heard they just started filming like a week or two ago. I think I saw like and somewhere on Twitter or something.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So time to hit the the brick wall. The biggest
Can we do a speed round or something with this?
Yeah, this is
Well,
like
we
one more.
no, we will not talk about all this at one time. Or I mean, like, we will not talk about each one of these individually. Some of this is mostly because most of this is just titles. We don't even know half of the details of
Fine.
most of this. But the biggest thing is that the Marvel Kevin Feige came out at Hall H and announced that he announced Phase 5 and Phase 6, kind of, because the whole thing about Phase 6 is he only announced 3 movies in which there's like a bunch of slots that aren't filled. But I think what happened was there was leaks before Comic-Con came out of movies that were going to be coming out in the Marvel slate. So I think Kevin Feige was like, well, it's already out there. We might as well just tell them about the stuff they saw on that thing. And, and the rest can be a mystery. So, to do, like, we'll talk about some in specifics, but just do a quick speed round of the things that are coming out immediately. We have She-Hulk coming out soon. Like, they released another trailer for that. That comes out next month, August 17th. Secret Invasion's coming out in 2023. It's going to be a show starring Nick Fury, and Ben Mendelsohn as Talos. Also is going to star Daenerys Targaryen. I forget her name right now.
Oh,
the actress.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm blanking on her name right now, but
she's going to be in it too. Ant-Man and the Wasp is getting a sequel, Quantumania. This is supposed to also show off, for those who watch Loki, Jonathan Majors coming back as Kang. He's going to be in that movie. Unclear if he's going to be the villain, but he is going to be in it, like the main villain, but he is going to be in it. Okay. And he is, we'll get back to Kang in a bit. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 coming out also in 2023. A lot of this is going to be in 2023. Because Ant-Man Wasp kicking off the year strong on February 17th, 2023. Guardians 3 coming out May 5th, 2023. And it is the last one. They confirmed it that James Gunn is like, after this.
About that Guardians holiday special coming out later this year.
That does come out this year. Guardians comes out with the Christmas special in December. We have Black Panther Wakanda Forever. That comes out later this year as well. They dropped the trailer. We will get to that trailer in a bit. But for right now, you're just doing a quick speed round. Echo is getting her own show. A show that I'm like, who cares? But I mean, that's not true. I am excited because it's cool to have a Native American superhero get her own TV show. It's more just the fact of it's Echo, like a character who has no powers and was very boring in Hawkeye. So I don't know what they're going to do with this character to make her more interesting for her own TV show, but we'll see. That comes out 2023. Still, though, excited for the Native American community that they get to have their own superhero. Shout out to my friend Cam and the Milestone Initiative. Loki season 2 is coming out 2023. So we get more Loki. Blade's coming out November 3rd, 2023. So we get and we have Mahershala Ali playing the titular character. So he's going to be Blade. Excited for that. No details on what it's going to be, but we got Blade. Ironheart is coming 2023 in the fall. That is Riri Williams, and that character is actually going to premiere in Wakanda Forever. So we will get to see that character before her show comes out. But she's essentially going to be like replacement Iron Man. Agatha is getting her own show, winter 2023, on Disney Plus, called Agatha Coven of Chaos. No details on what it's going to be, but she's getting her own show. So, Daredevil is getting a rebooted show because Charlie Cox is reprising his role as Daredevil from the Netflix Daredevil show. That comes out 2024 in the spring. It's going to be called Daredevil Born Again. It is going to star Charlie Cox, who is also going to be in She-Hulk as well later this year, and was in Spider-Man No Way Home for a little bit. The biggest thing they announced about this show is that it's going to have 18 episodes, which I'm like, if they're all going to be an hour long, I don't know if I want to watch it.
And if they're spending what they normally spend on these
in every
shows,
episode,
like how.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work.
Either they're going to dissipate, either they're going to stretch the budget further, and that show might be looking a little less budgety than the normal.
Well, I mean, it's Daredevil. He doesn't have any like spectacular powers. All he can do is he has his heightened senses. So you can all you got to really pay for is stunt work because he's like a ninja.
Still, he does a lot of stunt work.
True,
And
he does do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And
But you know what they'll do?
So-
They'll just CG it. That's what they do for Spider-Man.
But CG costs
like-
money.
Yeah, but
for
probably
what
less
they
than-
usually drop on those episodes, that's why they usually only do like 8 to do 18. If they're trying to drop the same amount of money that they usually do on like every episode.
I don't
Just
think they
averaging-
are. I think the plan is to spend more money. However, my issue is like they've been doing 6 as of late with the Marvel shows, and it hasn't been working because they've always feel like they run out of time when they hit near the end of the show. But at the same time, Netflix did 13 for their Marvel shows, and it always felt like it was too long. So I was like, in my mind, I'm like 10 is like the perfect number. 10 or
No,
11.
they said let's go straight to 18.
Yeah, right. They were just like, nah, screw that noise. We're gonna go over the 13. We're gonna go a whole 18 episodes. So I'm like,
well, that's the
I
way it
don't
used to be
know
back in
if
the
that'll work.
day.
Yeah, the episodes used
season.
to be like 18 to 20 episodes long.
Here's the thing. I'm only concerned if it's an hour long each episode. If each episode's like 25 minutes, cool. That's perfect. For I'd like to have 18 episodes because it doesn't feel like we're like spending so much time. But if it's like every episode's an hour long, I'm gonna get a little concerned because there's only but so many before the show just becomes too long and you're just dealing with filler.
Or maybe they finally learned that they can pace it out properly. Maybe this is what they need. Because they were able to do that with seasons and series, back then. Then they try to rush it. Maybe this is all just we need, a calm pace. Will you stop attacking your fan?
Listen, it's too close to me because I need the win, the power. I mean, thankfully the sun's gone down, so it's cooled down a little bit.
For this
But
episode. So basically, what I'm hearing from this Marvel news is
hold
that
on, I'm not done.
Okay.
I'm not done. There's more. Captain America: New World Order, starring Anthony Mackie as Captain America, is coming out May 3rd, 2024. Then we get Thunderbolts, which is basically Marvel Suicide Squad. That's coming out July 26th, 2024. Then we get Fantastic Four coming out November 8th, 2024. That's right, they're doing it again. The
Oh, I haven't seen
hubris.
that movie. Not that
Yeah,
movie, the
Super
movie that
Pets.
Alex has on the back of
Yeah,
her.
I know. Yeah, Super Pets.
Super Pets.
Yeah, they have confirmed that Fantastic Four will not be an origin story, but that's as far as they've told us so far. And then also for Fantastic Four is the start of Phase 6. And then to round it all out, at the end of Phase 6, we get new back-to-back Avengers movies. We get Avengers: The Kang Dynasty and Avengers: Secret Wars. Now we're done.
You think they get as tired in that meeting room as we do? Like, oh, okay, we're done.
It's-
All right.
it's
no,
a
no, no.
lot.
By the way, some things got leaked for Phase 6. We have a Phase 6. I haven't seen my children in 3 years. So divorce was rough, but like she didn't have to take them. They say they love these Marvel movies, but I don't think it was worth it.
What I was saying earlier is that basically what I'm hearing is that if you've been in a Marvel property, movie, television show, maybe one-off holiday special, then you getting your own show within the next 2 years.
Marvel decided to go Oprah style. Give one for
I do
everybody.
think Marvel's getting ridiculous with the shows. Like Daredevil, okay, that makes sense. A lot of people have been waiting for Daredevil. Cool. Agatha's getting a show.
Well, Agatha was a fan
Ooh.
favorite, so I can understand.
And
I can
like
actually
use things in sparing numbers. Agatha was a fan favorite because she wasn't the focus of WandaVision. When she popped up, she was only in 2 episodes. So people got to spend
think-
not too much time with her to just enjoy her. A whole show of that character? I don't know about that.
I think Agatha will move from like kind of comic-y book style to more like hocus pocus style going on. Because that was her vibe. And I think that's why people liked her so much. They want the hocus pocus style. They just want a crazy witch on TV. That's what it comes down to.
And
also,
you're also I
Oh,
was
go
just
ahead.
gonna say, so now I know what I need to do to get like my Over Marvel show, all I need to do is like be an extra in like one of the next Marvel movies. And then the year later, they'll give me my own show.
No, what you need to do, because you are still a black man, you have to be a teammate to a white man that's close to death or giving something up. That way you can sneak into that role and they'll just give you that.
To be fair, Echo got her own show and she was the villain of Hawkeye, so or anti-hero, I guess. And also Ironheart, she's debuting in the blackest of all these Marvel movies and then getting her own show. So it's not entirely true.
I think,
but even still,
I think you'll get a quicker movie and show with my plan, Jonathan.
It's a lot. Okay. It's a lot of stuff coming out. And I get it. It's like, because they're trying to build to the next like year-long saga. Because with the Kang dynasty, I know that that's in reference to Kang, played by Jonathan Majors, who was in Loki. He's going to be in Quantumania. The fact that they're naming an Avengers movie after him tells me he's going to be around for a lot of other movies. And then he's going to be like the main villain, maybe in Avengers, the Kang dynasty. So who knows?
I think it's weird that Marvel has phases. That's what's weird
about
all
had
this.
Phases. Phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 were the past movies we've gotten. They've always done that.
No, but it's still weird to have phases like this. And then people aren't really anticipating the movies. They're not being like, "Oh, I'm excited for this."
No.
They're like, "I'm excited for this
phase." You do not
phase.
see the people who went crazy over this phase 5 slate of like, "Oh, snap, this movie and that movie, this TV show. Oh my God." Just foaming at the mouth. Like over this announcement of what phase 5 has in store, because phase 4 has been so disappointing so far, I guess, in their mind.
I just want to go to the movies and enjoy myself.
That's my thing.
It's like so hard nowadays.
I'm over the announcements of the sagas and stuff, man. Like we did that already. All right. We did 11 years of Marvel movies to get to Thanos. Just put out movies.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's weird that people are so excited with these phases and stuff like that. And, like they have phases. Like when you used to go to like Comic-Con, they're like, "We're announcing this movie. We're announcing this character. This is like the deal." Now Marvel comes out with this whole ass presentation. It's not about the movies. It's like, we're having this and we're going to show you how it's all connected in the end, leading up to this, which is our closer. So this is really what you got to pay attention to and start looking for clues. And it's like, well, can't I just have fun and enjoy the movie? Why do I have to like interpret and look at and analyze every little thing to make sure I got to remember it? Was this a clue for the next? Like, I don't want to fucking like play games with my movie. I just want to watch the movie.
Well, also, I can tell though that what this all boils down to is that last movie, Avengers Secret Wars, because Secret Wars is a battle of like all of these characters. Well, it is secret, but it's also a battle of all these characters from different comics. So what they're doing, and the reason there's so many projects, is because they're trying to fast track having more heroes. Because when they did Civil War, I remember I was excited, but I was also like, how is that going to work? Because Civil War in the comics is huge. It has like every character, almost every Marvel character who's ever been invented since the 60s is in it. You know how many characters that is? Yeah. And then by the time the movies did it, they were like, we've got like 10. I'm like, okay, 10 heroes fighting. And they had the airport battle, which was kind of cool. But I was like, okay, this seems a bit like minimal compared to
thing about
the story you're naming this movie after.
The only good thing about that airport battle was Tom Holland's character, the Spider-Man.
Oh no, Ant-Man was cool.
He passed out from blood sugar.
No, that's right. He did pass out. That's right.
Yeah.
But he still was cool. He rode on the arrow and everything. He became Giant Man. It was great.
So the one movie everybody is talking about is I'm moving on. We got to close up this. Is Black Panther.
Oh, wait,
Wakanda
before
Forever.
we do Black Panther,
I swear to God, if you got another Marvel thing, no, we're not.
No, I'm just asking if you guys want to watch She-Hulk.
Maybe.
Sure.
But She-Hulk looks good. I love the trailer because it's like, I feel like I want to help this show out because I like She-Hulk and I feel like the show is being buried, especially now that all these announcements came out. Now people aren't even really talking about She-Hulk. They're already moving on to the next 5 or 6 movies, and I'm like, She-Hulk's coming out.
That's what
though.
I'm also saying. They're like, nobody's enjoying what is presented to them right now. They're like, well, now I have to think about all these. Like, calm down, just enjoy.
I'm excited for the. I think they fixed the CG. It looks better in the most recent trailer. I like the. I'm excited for this new She-Hulk show. I'm excited to see Daredevil in it too. That's kind of cool. But more or less, I'm just excited to see She-Hulk get a show. Be cool.
Alex, Black Panther.
Yeah, moving on to Wakanda Forever. Everybody is sad. That's what I learned from this trailer. Everybody's sad.
Well, yeah, there's people are dead. Martin Freeman's the only white guy in this film, and I love that. It's super funny. It always reminds me of that TikTok. You are African American, and Mark. We're rocking with Mark because Mark's rocking with us. Because Martin Freeman's just hanging out with like all. It looks really good. People have been raving because there is a Native American Latino anti-hero. Would you call him?
Well,
Namor?
Namor's a weird mix because Namor has been a villain. There has been a story where Atlantis.
Wait, really quick, respectfully, we do have a short amount of time, so you got to keep your comic book explanations just a little bit smaller than you usually do.
I'm just saying. Namor is weird as a weird character, but I'm excited to see it. I think it's cool that they've made him kind of like an Aztec or Mayan type, like pulling from that culture, that South American culture, to add to that, because I mean, it's come out that he's not Atlantean, but he's Atlantean. But they want to separate it from Aquaman. They don't want him to feel too Aquaman. So I think this is a great way to do it. And you're dealing with African culture, so why not like mix in some like another ancient culture that is going to be like the battling force. I think that's really cool, and I'm excited to see it.
I really like what they did because Wakanda basically is what happened if colonization never happened. And so it's basically Native African. And when you bring in Native American culture, it gets it like it gets this like more powerful vibe to it, because the actor is Mexican, which is really great to see a Mexican in such a high powered role, front and center. And but modern day Mexican is highly influenced by colonization from Spaniards, and that's a lot of what our mixed culture is now. To see more before that, I think is really cool. It intertwines Latinos and Native Americans, and it's an enjoyment for me because I get to have both so equally, but without the influence of the colonization. I get to see what happens if colonization ever happened for me, but all mine's underwater. But I'm still enjoying it. I think it's really, from the video they have given us, it all looks visually beautiful. Looks visually well done.
And it was cool to see because we met Ruth Carter, and that's
Ruth E. Carter.
Ruth E. Carter, thank you. She told us that she was like want to do something different with the costumes when we met her at the Museum of Pop Culture, and it definitely shows here. Some of the costumes that were just on display inside just this little bit of we got from the teaser trailer looks incredible, and I can't wait to see the rest of the movie already. It looks good.
Famously, I have also not seen this trailer yet.
How you gonna be black and not watch this trailer? You gotta do it for the culture, Jonathan. You gotta cry when you do it.
I'm Latino, so I'm saying
I'm gonna ignore that. So
I'm just saying there are some people who are butthurt that certain black people did reaction videos and didn't cry watching this trailer. And it's like, I mean, like,
wait, what were you saying, Jonathan?
I was saying, I don't even know what I was saying at this point because I just got called not black.
You're not black enough because you didn't cry or watch the trailer.
What?
That's
hey, when I give my coins to this movie, then if I don't give my coins to this movie, then you can talk, okay? But until then, you can't talk.
I didn't cry either, so I guess I'm not black enough.
I did not
guess
cry.
not.
I did not cry watching this trailer at
I
all.
think
I was I was emotional. I was inspired. I didn't cry though.
I saw some of those reaction videos. It's a little weird. I feel like how intensely they did cry. I understand it slightly, but the amount of tears I saw, little weird, little weird. Um, just a little too. I'm not an emotional person. I don't cry ever. I do. That's a lot. I do cry. I guess I'm a very private crier. So when I see people so publicly crying so intensely, it weirds me out a little bit. And it's just like, this is awkward. Why would you post this? Why would you do that? Like, at least like camera cry, like clean up the face a little bit.
Have you
Make it
seen
less
that
weird.
video of the little girl who is crying on Snapchat? And she's like, "Ooh, ooh," and then she stops recording and she's like, she watches it back.
No. See this.
That's how I feel like the people on YouTube are like, they're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
I bet
Stop.
they are. I bet some of them are
Stop
like a little
recording.
too much. They're the little. They have to be. I'm hoping they are, honestly.
You
Because
think
if you're
Letitia
crying
Wright
like that,
ended up becoming
Please
Black
don't
Panther
mention
for
that
this?
woman on this podcast again.
I'm just saying she's all over the trailer. She's in this movie.
That's partially in my mind why I didn't want to watch it. But okay, I won't be okay.
no, your points are
people
valid.
get second chances. I mean,
She has caused a lot of issues, and it was during a heightened point in COVID. We are still in a pandemic, and now a second pandemic is about to hit us. And yeah, she reacted the way she did when it was part of the studio, and it's about keeping people safe. It was a health issue that she openly belittled, ignored, and almost acted like it didn't exist, and then was upset when people called her out for it. There are a lot of issues with that. And I think I understand, yeah, people get second chances. And to continue this film, she probably eventually got either COVID testing or got the vaccine. But it was still something when so many people were dying in the thousands of numbers. She just didn't want to do it. And it appears selfish when it becomes a health wide crisis. I am not forgetting that when I watch this movie, when I'm seeing it, and I won't forget it. I can watch the movie. I don't know if I like her, and I don't know if I'll bond with her character the way I did after knowing that truth about her. So, but I don't know if I'm giving really her a second chance, but I think I'm giving more the movie the chance I feel like it deserves, because it speaks to it speaks to two different cultures, and it speaks to my culture, and I get a chance to see part of who I am up on that screen in a more positive light, because a lot of people of color characters tend to be pushed to that of servitude. And now I get to see almost like an Aztecian god, in the front of this film, and the way people are reacting. So I that's where I'm standing on that whole thing.
I'm just curious. Like they've already showed, like there's a mural in the trailer to Chadwick Boseman. Clearly looks like there's a funeral scene as well. I'm curious just to see their honor to the
how they
man.
handle it.
Yeah. Because like from what I've heard, there's rumors that like the character also dies from cancer in the movie. Just for some solidarity between the actor and the character. We'll see. But I'm excited for this movie. Regardless of the Letitia Wright stuff, I still want to see it because I really want to see the finality of this like chapter in Chadwick Boseman's filmography. Even though he's not in the film, his spirit very much is probably still going to be there, just because of his impact on not just the movie but the entire cast. So I'm curious to see how that goes, and just watch it out of respect to him and everybody who worked on this movie and stuff like that. And we'll see where it goes from here, because they announced phase 6 and I didn't see another Black Panther movie in there, so I don't know what the plan is after this as far as getting more Black Panther anything. But we'll see.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I will say this one thing, and I'm gonna say it the way it means to be taken. I've heard a lot of things about people wanting to wear white to this film, and the honor and the culture. Yeah, for the morning scene because they all wear white. Because
Oh,
white. I asked white people to wear another second color, and no, I'm being legitimate serious about this because if I walk into a film that the main characters are people of color, and I walk into that theater and there's just a bunch of white people wearing a bunch of only white clothes, my ass is leaving that theater immediately.
Just go opening night. That's when all the black people are going to show up.
I'm gonna try, but I'm telling you now, if that happens, I
and it depends
understand
on what theater you go to, what area, what city.
you can't even know anymore. And that's the thing is, we've reached like with way things are going. I'm not risking anything. This could simply just be them, trying to mourn and show respect. But there's too much history about white people wearing all white. Like, no, I'm asking you to wear a second color or something like that. Cause like I've seen too many people already
Cream.
talking about it, like off white or something. Just like it makes
Wear
me
some
Eggshell.
eggshell.
like I really
Yeah, there you
don't
go,
want to
Jonathan,
have
me and
to
you.
spend watching the movie, keeping my eyes out for everybody, being like, what are they moving for? Oh, it's the
Like
popcorn.
this. This
Okay.
is a this is a
Yeah.
it's an off-white.
Yeah. Just like something. That's all I'm saying. I know it may sound a little ridiculous, but I'm like being legitimate. Like just there's just so many connections with that. Like people need to think about things before they do things. A lot of stuff won't happen if people just thought before they did it. They're like, I thought it was a good idea. I was just not doing this with malice intent. It doesn't matter. It still appeared the way it appeared, and now you have to deal with the consequences. Whether you meant to do it or not, with malicious intention or not, it still was bad. Except what you did was bad, and don't do it again. That's it. Don't do it again. But
I mean,
I am excited.
it
for
was
this
blackface in college. Everybody was doing it.
We need a segment called PSA Alex or something, or PS Alex. PS Alex, and she would talk to the audience and tell us what to do and
Tell 'em
whatnot.
what it is.
I would do a whole live thing of like people ask me, "Do you think this is?" No, it's not. Why not? Because you're asking me. You came onto a podcast with a woman of color to ask if something was okay. You knew it wasn't. You absolutely knew it wasn't. All right.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
With that, on that note, we've gone.
So
way
there we
longer
go.
than we
Comic-Con
expected to.
wrapped up. I knew Marvel was going to be hard to do because it's just they dropped so much. They dropped so much news. I did not expect this much from Marvel when they were like,
Yes,
yeah,
you
we're going to
did.
be a Comic-Con. Not this much. I expected a lot.
Okay,
Not
well, we ain't
this.
got to be talking about them still, so let's wrap it up.
Oh, Jonathan, I see you're angry.
I'm kind of with him. Let's go.
Is it because Kiki Palmer's not in any of these Marvel movies?
You don't know that? Hey, it's called Secret
You
Wars
don't
for a
know
reason.
So this was Comic-Con San Diego 2022. We got to announce everything that happened there, or at least the upcoming films. Some of them we are excited for, like Black
Dungeons
Adam,
and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons, Chris Pine.
Mhm.
I don't think Henry Carvill's in anything, but he was certainly on my mind for a while. And things we're not wanting to see, like National Treasure, because honest to God, why? And things that are eventually going to touch our hearts, like Black Panther, Wakanda, and forever, Wakanda Forever. And I think it's going to be an interesting upcoming year, seeing the projects that do develop, seeing the projects that are actually going to be successful, to the ones that are like, this is going to be it, and then nobody goes to see it. So we'll have plenty to review in the upcoming year. Hopefully we'll listen to you. Hopefully you'll listen to all of us. And I might do that thing about Alex just says no to you. Where can they find you though, Jonathan, if they're looking for you to ask you about any movies?
You can find me. Don't ask me about trailers though. You can ask me, or you can find me at Jonathan Keys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you please. Looks like Jerome's hopped out for a second, but you can also follow us at The First Ones to Die on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of those great things, those great outlets. You can email us, thefirstones2die@gmail.com, and we'd love to get your questions, your feedback, and anything you'd like to say to us.
Jerome, before you
Jerome.
dip out again.
You can find me at Not Jerome Rhett on Instagram, as well as at RoboZooMedia and at Jerome_the_show for other stuff I am working on. And if you want to check out, this is one of our special segments. But if you want to catch other extra, God damn it, phone! You want to catch other extra stuff that we have done, go on over to the First Ones to Die YouTube channel, where you can at the First Ones to Die, where you can find all types of stuff, like, for example, gaming reviews, mini reviews. What else is up there? Vlogs,
Book
and
reviews.
of course, book reviews, filmed versions of all of the podcast episodes we've done so far. So go on over to the YouTube channel, check that stuff out. It'll all be over there.
And you can find me at Alex and Nobody on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. As well, on TikTok, you can find the First Ones to Die's TikTok account, where I post little clips of the segments and also just little things I have been doing because I get really bored now at my current job. So there's that. Also, the next book review, I believe, will be coming out soon, which is How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days. Keanu Reeves, I would just love to marry him. You know, I'm putting that out there as well. Yeah, just saying.
In 90 days?
Yeah. I mean, if he wants to do it tomorrow, I'm free. But hopefully you guys will come to listen to us again and let us know what you thought about the trailers coming out. If you went to San Diego Comic-Con, what was your experience like? And anything like that, comment below, send us a DM, send us an email. We'd always be happy to hear from you. And that's all for now. Have a good night or day or whatever. We got to figure out that goodbye stance.
Bye. I mean, I feel like that fits.